a few people who said they were going to come later due to travel and work stuff. But if we wait too long, we'll push everybody over. So um, welcome. I'm excited. We're back for another year of breakthrough mentoring, and with us today are a lot of returning mentors, and we have a few new mentors as well. So welcome to all of you. You'll have some time at the end to kind of mix and mingle, and we have a few little activities at the end, so you'll have a chance to be a little bit more interactive with your fellow mentors. I am Jerry Wolf. A lot of you have seen my name and on emails and such. A lot of you also think I'm a man. I'm not. Mostly that's the students. I always get, "Hi, Mr. Wolf." But I am thrilled to be a part of Breakthrough, and I'm going to start introducing some of the Breakthrough staff to you before we jump in. For some of you, this is a repeat, but we do have some new faces in Breakthrough. I'm Jerry Wolf again. I'm one of the project coordinators of Breakthrough, and I'm also leading the mentorship team. And that mentorship team is a lot of the people that you interact with on a regular basis. So on that team is Summer, and Summer is she's standing up now. She's Sangria, her avatar name. So Summer is the post-secondary coordinator for mentors and students. So if you are a post-secondary mentor, you will work a lot with Summer. Yay, she's happy about it. Also here is Lisa Destish. Lisa is the secondary or high school mentoring coordinator. And so you'll see her name a lot. And if you could, remember to mute your mic while you're sitting there. It just reduces some of the feedback. The other people here, let's see, is Stephanie here? Stephanie is also part of the mentorship team, as well as David Floyd, who is Davio Deluxe. His audio is not working, so he probably doesn't know I'm introducing him. Oh, maybe he does hear me. Anyway, David is a new member of our team. He is experienced in a lot of technical issues and has done some work in Second Life in the past, and he has been a wonderful addition to our team. Also here is Dr. Noelle Gregg. She is a PI for the project, so she's one of the PIs. Yay, Noelle, she's waving. Who else? Chris Langston is here. He's also a project coordinator and a co-PI for the project, and he's the robot sitting in the back. And we have, let's see, who have I missed? Oh, is Nathan here? I don't know Nathan's. Oh, you're Moon Zero. Yay. Okay. I didn't know your your avatar name, but Nathan is another co-PI for our project. He's new to us, and we welcome him to this kickoff event. And we also have an affiliate organization that works really closely with us, and it's fantastic. And there are a number of them around, and they're from a group called Vesuvius, and that's Franz Charming, and I think Rhiannon. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But there's a few Vesuvius folks here, and they do a fantastic job of helping. They built the islands. They are helping to refine the islands, and then they do a lot of support for us. So thank you all, and thanks to the staff for being here. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. Type in and introduce yourself, and I'll try to come back to you. Let's start with some of the new things that have been going on in Breakthrough. You know, each year we take your feedback and we try to make refinements to the project, to the island, to our mentoring process. And we wanted to start right again to talk about the mentoring lounge. And I believe that that was going to be David. And since David doesn't have a voice, I'm going to try to go through some of his stuff. And David, if I don't have your updated version, it's fine. You can just chat some of the new stuff. David is going to be handling all the Second Life training and support for the mentors and students of BreakThru. So that's one of the big pieces that he does. And if you noticed in our advertisement that attending Second Life training at least once a year is a requirement. So it just gets you back on the island, refreshes you with all the features, with how to navigate. And so David is really, really good with this. And we have several dates that we've already set up, and we will have regular dates for training. And you can sign up for one of those dates and show up, and David will be there to walk you through. We're also setting up some different levels of training. So if you want a refresher in some basic navigation, basic training, there is that course. But if you want something a little bit more advanced, David can work with you on that as well. David and Summer both also work with website issues. And in particular, David is doing some website logins. In the past, you've always received a Second Life login, but not really a website login. So now we've started making sure that everyone has a website login. So particularly you as a mentor, should you want to go to the Mentor Lounge and post on the forum, then you will need to be logged in. So right now, make a note to yourself. If you don't know your website login, then email me or David. And if David, you could type your email where you want people to email you that information, then email David and he will email you back your login information for the website and Second Life. What we did, well, I'll come back to the modules in a minute. Let's see. He's also going to be working really closely with the Mentor Forum. Now, that was something that we started toward the end of last year, and so we want to really emphasize the fact that you as a mentor can have your own community where you can talk to other mentors in the project, and you can ask questions, or you can find other mentors who may be more in tune with maybe what your student is dealing with. So you could ask a mentor to come and work with you and your student for a little bit. And you can do that by going to the forum, posting things on the forum, as well as looking at the mentor profiles that are in the lounge as well. And you can look through and see profiles of all of our mentors, their expertise, how long they've been with the project, that kind of thing. If you go and check the forum regularly, you'll find that we're going to put out mentoring tips. We're going to spotlight modules. We're also going to spotlight mentors. And so a lot of this will come out on the forum and on our blog, which is on the website. So it's important to make sure that you check back to the forum. We will also periodically take forum information and push it out to your email. So in case you have not been looking at the forum, you'll get something in your email and you'll be able to see what kinds of conversations are going on, and you may be able to offer some suggestions to those conversations. One thing that you could do sometime next week or this week or next is go visit the Mentor Lounge and look through the profile section. If you do not see your profile there, then also email David and let him know. If you're a new mentor, we haven't had time to do your profile, but please email David anyway, because that'll cue him to send you the form. But if you are a returning mentor and you don't see your stuff, or you want to update it or change it, please email David and let him know, and we can get that going for you. Let's see. He's already done a few training sessions in Second Life. The upcoming basic training dates, if you have something to write with, write these down. are September 24th and September 25th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So you pick a day. You don't have to go to both unless you really want to. We will have other training dates established, and we will let everyone know if you can't make those dates. And remember, you need to attend at least one Second Life training session this academic year. So we will offer a myriad of training sessions throughout the year. Once you have completed a training session, we've also instituted a badge system. So you will be instructed to get a badge, and that badge, we keep track of those, and that's how we will know that you have completed various activities, both in Second Life and then in some of the other activities that we have planned. Let's see, what else have I missed, David? Let's see. I wish that David could do this. He is so much better at talking all this technical stuff than I am. David spends a lot of time in Second Life. And so, if you feel like just popping in, you'll probably find him there. So his name is Davio Deluxe. And so if you see him, go ahead and strike up a conversation. Hello. So if you have other technical questions, just let me know. But I think that does it for David. David, did I miss anything? No. You're very, very quiet. I can hear you kind of. It's trying. Okay, well, you holler when it comes back on. All right. Now, we wanted to do something very different this time. I think in the past on our kickoffs, we've focused on a training aspect of some kind, or we brought in a speaker. And we focused on STEM issues or mentoring issues. And what we haven't really done a lot of is focus on the disability part of our project. So let me remind you a little bit about what the mission or the purpose of BreakThru is. And it's really to increase the number of students with disabilities that earn a STEM degree. And we work with high school students to try to help them have an interest in STEM and to help pursue that so that they go on to college and then pursue STEM there. But the overwhelming focus here is working with students with disabilities, because many students with disabilities have barriers to education, barriers that their disability puts in front of them. So what we want
Hey, Jerry, I think that your mic might have cut out, so I wanted to jump in and see if you could hear me.
I can. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. I think, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I can hear you now, Jerry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Cut off there.
Oh my gosh. I didn't pay attention to that. So tell me, what was the last thing you heard?
You were talking about changing the focus of the session this time to talk more about disabilities. I think if you went there.
Wow. That was a long time ago. What I'm going to do is we're going to go through a video clip that's going to make you feel a little bit like a person with a reading disability or a learning disability in reading, which is one of the more common learning disabilities, and actually one of the more common disabilities of the students that we work through in BreakThru. So what I'd like to do is direct your attention. I just want you to look at the center screen and take your cursor and put it over it. And don't click, Nothing. Just put your cursor over it, and you see that an address bar shows up. Okay, go up to the top of that address bar and click the magnifying glass that has the plus sign in it. And if you do that, it zooms that screen in. Is everyone good with that so far? See? Okay. Okay, wonderful. I'm glad it worked. Now what I'm going to do, don't click on anything else on this screen. Don't touch it, nothing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a YouTube video up there, and I need everyone to make sure their mics are muted. Otherwise, we'll hear everybody else listening to this video. And it's an excerpt from a workshop called Fat City, which FAT stands for Frustrations, Anxieties, and Tensions. And basically, it was a workshop done many years ago to help teachers, parents, friends of students with learning disabilities really understand what it's like for a learning disabled person to sit in a classroom. And in this particular clip, we're really focusing on reading and reading decoding. So, what happened to my URL? Let me try it again.
I'm gonna play it for you.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Here it comes.
Before we begin this activity, I'm going to humor your learning disability for you. First of all, I understand that some of you have difficulty with reversals. Because you're learning disabled, you have some difficulty with reversals, which is a small part of learning disabilities, but it certainly is a part. Difficulty with reversals. Because you're learning disabled, you have some difficulty with reversals, which is a small part of learning disabilities, but it certainly is a part. And that you don't understand the difference between P, D, B, and Q. So let me teach you those. It's very, very simple. D is a balloon with a stick on it. That's easy to remember, okay? Now this is something completely different. This is your P here. This is a P. This is a stick with a balloon next to it. And this is your D. This is a stick with a balloon next to it. So now you know the difference between these four. And you can tell the difference. Can you? No. Many learning disabled children will make mistakes and confuse these four letters. Why? We all did. We were taught that this is a what? Watch. This is easy stuff, guys. This is a watch. A watch, okay. This is a watch. What is it now? A watch. How about now? How about now? A watch. In other words, we learn from the time we're born until we're 5 years old that spatial orientation does not dictate object identification. In other words, this is a watch no matter how I hold it. It's not a watch and now it's a can of motor oil and now it's an AM FM radio. It doesn't change because I've moved it. It continues to be a watch. Suddenly you go to school in the first grade, some lady in a skirt says, forget everything that you know about perception. Because now, if you take this shape and you hold it this way, it's a P and it says pa. If you turn it this way, it's a B and it says ba. If you turn it this way, it's a D and it says duh. If you turn it this way, it says Q and God knows what it says, okay? You'll get that in the second grade, you don't have to worry about that right now. In other words, for the first time in our lives, spatial orientation, the way I hold this in space, changes what it actually is. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to read another story. Except now, when you see the letter P, it might be a P, but it also might be a B or a Q. And when you see the words broken, they're not necessarily going to be broken where they should be. And they're not going to be written on that nice, neat, invisible line. And you're going to find what it's like to try to read as a learning disabled or dyslexic child. So let's begin, please, with Maria.
Come on, said Betsy. We have to...
Remember, it can be any one of three letters. 4 letters, P, B, B, or Q.
we have to
Come on, Maria.
pick up some.
No, not some. We have to pick up what, Carol?
This corn, we don't have another
Come on, quickly, Carol.
another can of
Can of what? Come on, Carol. Don't help, please. Can of what? Come on, Carol. It's a simple word. Another can of what? Come on, Carol. Hurry, please.
something corn.
Yeah, is the word something, Carol? What is it? 3 letters, Carol. How tough can this be?
Dog, no.
Come on, Carol. Quickly, please.
I'm sweating.
Carolyn, this is an easy word. How many times as teachers do we tell a child you can't do something that the task is easy? Think about that. The child can't do it. He doesn't need to hear that it's easy. Come on, Carol. There are 3 letters in the word, Carol. How difficult can this be?
Very difficult. I don't know.
Another can of what, Jody?
Popcorn.
Popcorn. Go ahead, Jody.
Oh, so you sit back on your laurels?
Go ahead, Jody.
Are we going to eat popcorn
That's what? Come on, let's go, Jody.
been on the floor? Asked Susan.
Okay, Lee, be a little careful here, Lee.
We can wash it. Betsy answered. That's a good idea, said Susan. We can wash it.
Nancy.
Oh, dear.
The children went to work. It took them all night.
No. Just read what's on the page here, Nancy, huh?
It took them.
Look around, by the way. Look at the number of class clowns that we've developed here, huh? Isn't that a typical reaction of learning disabled children?
It
Go ahead,
took them
Nancy.
a long time to pick up all the, where am I? Oh, yeah, the popcorn.
Karen.
I'm not too good at this. Then they took the corn to the kitchen, and Betsy was,
No, that's not what it says.
Betsy, wait a minute, and Betsy,
Come on, Karen.
the kitchen, and Betsy
Go ahead, Debbie.
washed it.
Is your name Debbie? Is your name Debbie? Is your name Debbie? Is your name Debbie? Now, my using that rhetorical question with Karen absolutely shut down communication. That's no way to communicate. There's no correct answer to that question. And it's extremely intimidating. In other words, we only use rhetorical questions with adults when we're trying to hurt their feelings, but we use them with kids all the time. You know what I've always thought? If you want to break a teacher of using rhetorical questions, assign them a child who answers rhetorical questions. How many times am I supposed to tell you to keep your hands to yourself? Kid says 14. 14. What am I supposed to do with you? How about a weekend at Disney World? That'd be nice. If they answered rhetorical questions, we wouldn't use them as often. But it's a weapon we use against kids all the time. And I'm not sure that we should. Debbie.
All the children thought that was just the thing to do.
Karen.
Betsy put the corn in two big pans to put in the oven.
Okay, wasn't that fun? How are you feeling right now? Okay, and again, let me throw some questions at you. Whose idea was it to put the corn in the oven? Who knows? We've got to keep that in mind as we talk about the critical moral value of fairness.
Okay. I know some of you had some technical problems. Let me try and turn myself around here. Oh, let's try to unzoom. Okay, so if you go up to the top and you find your magnifying glass, you can click it, or you can hit the escape button, and it will unzoom you. There you go. This was our first time trying to show a video in Second Life, so I know that we had some technical issues with sound and such with that. But so let me try to summarize. And yes, this was recorded. Yes, we'll give you the URL for the video. Basically, what this was having a group of people who did not have any kind of reading disability have to read as a learning disabled child when we confuse the P's, the B's, the D's, and the Q's. And so it was an exercise in how a person struggles when they have that kind of decoding issue, as well as if you struggle so hard with the decoding, you know, do you really understand what you just read? Do you really get what the story was about if you're struggling so hard with the reading? Were a lot of you able to hear it and see it? Does anyone want to write or say? You can turn your mic on and say something, or you can type it in. Was there something about this that might have stood out to you? Maybe something that you didn't think of before in terms of students with learning disabilities.
Well, Jerry, this is Lisa. As a former high school teacher, it's really, really embarrassing for a student to have to admit and understand and be challenged like that. So this was really a good exercise for me.
The idea behind sharing this with you as mentors is that regardless, if your student has a learning disability or not, your student does have a disability. So it's a way to encourage you to be able to open up that dialogue with your student, talk to them about their disability, or let them talk to you, tell you what it's like, and in particular, ask them what it's like in the classroom for them. Someone who has a reading disability, think about how much you read in school and how much you have to read to earn a college degree and how much you have to read in STEM and how much you have to read in life. So this can be a big, huge obstacle for someone. And you can see that maybe an individual might get frustrated and want to give up and move on with that. I also too like the comments about rhetorical questions. I think sometimes we don't think about that. And so that was an interesting point that he made.
Jerry, I'd just like to say, also, you talk about frustrating. You and Lisa talk about how frustrated, but also just how exhausting it is just to read a little bit when you're having to almost read it like from another language.
Yeah, that's really a good point. And students often say they have to reread passages over and over again to try to glean the meaning of that. So, all this to say, what can we do, and what is available that we can assist a student, that we can talk to them, listen to them. They're going to talk about what it's like for them in the classroom. What is there available? How do you know what you can do to help them? So with that, we, of course, your wonderful BreakThru team compiled some resources for you. And I think years ago, you heard us talk about the mentorship primer. And basically that we have a mentorship manual that is on our website. And we put it together maybe 2 or so years ago. We have recently done some updates to it. We made it more interactive. We have added sections on disabilities. And so we'd like to just show you a little bit of this manual. so that you know where it is, where you can go, how to use it, and then it'll give you some ideas on how to help the student with a learning disability. And we're still going to keep that example. So I want you to think about, what you can do to work with someone who has a reading disability. If you go back and look at the screen and hover over it again and hit the zoom, the magnifying zoomy button, you're going to see a picture of our primer. And because of the technical issues, this is actually really just a picture. In order for you to actually work with the primer, you go to our website and then go to the mentors section, the mentors tab, and you will find a link to this primer. But the page will look like this, and on the left-hand side, there is a menu that is in red, and that menu breaks out. As you can see, that Summer is so wonderful to do this. Is everyone seeing the change in the picture? Just type
Yes.
it in. Okay, great. As you can see under disabilities, we have a list of a variety of disabilities, and we've compiled some information on them. And so if you click on learning disabilities, you will be taken to a page that will describe for you some of the definition of what a learning disability is. It'll talk about some characteristics of disabilities, and it goes into various sections. And I'm not putting all those up here for you in for time's sake. What I am going to do, and what you have up here, is you see a piece of this section on learning disabilities that talks about real-world classroom support. So, your student who struggles with reading in school, what jumps to your mind immediately? What do you think, is a way to assist that student, or might be what we would call an accommodation for that student? You can speak or you can type. Come on.
Tape recording, usually.
Oh, thank you. You could tape record something and let them re-listen to it. Or are you talking about having the materials on tape?
I've done it once, and generally, it's allowing them to bring a tape recorder whenever I'm lecturing, and then letting them have that, and then playing it back whenever they need for their own purposes.
Perfect. One of the really really, I guess, big accommodations for students who have reading issues. I mean, just think about when you were in school and the sheer volume, and well, maybe even now if you're a faculty member, I mean, the sheer volume of information that you have to read. It used to be that students would request all their textbooks and handouts and things be recorded onto a cassette tape. So I'm kind of showing my age a little bit. We obviously have left the cassette tape along with the 8-track tapes in the dust, and everything is much more technical. And so now we have computer programs that read text aloud to students. So now one of the things that is very common for a student with a reading disability is to have all their materials converted to a digital format. And that could be a PDF file, and then there are readers that read the material aloud, a program that reads that aloud to a student. A lot of times students have that material converted to an MP3 and they put it on their iPod and they listen to it there. So there are different ways, obviously, for students to be able to get that. But it's that is one of the big ones. Let's see, I'm missing some of the chat. That's interesting. Taking snapshots of a whiteboard
That's
with an
a great
iPad.
idea. I think that's a great idea.
Even our smartphones, which are now almost smarter than us, I know of an individual with a learning disability, and when he goes out to a restaurant, he has trouble reading the menu. He'll take a picture of the menu with his phone, and then he has software on his phone that will read that aloud to him. So he can now, he doesn't have to ask someone, hey, read this to me, or, do what a lot of people do is, they go to a place and they know they can order a hamburger, so this way he can be more interactive. So
It's
anyway,
it's sort of a universal design, isn't it?
oh, absolutely. So I wanted to show you that there are resources here. So as you're interacting with your student, and your student may not have a learning disability, your student may have one of the other disabilities listed, and just let them talk a little bit about what it's like for them, and then don't be afraid of that subject, and if you get to a place where you don't know the answer, that's why you have your breakthrough coordinators to kind of help you work through that. So please visit the primer. It not only has disability information, but we've added some more sections. So I think I've taken a ton of time. I feel like I've talked and talked and talked. I'm not, Summer, I'm not going to do the psychological disability page. So we can skip over that. But really, I guess what I want you to take from this is open a dialogue with your student and uncover barriers that are brought on by the disability that you weren't aware that the student was experiencing. And then maybe you'll be able to work through those and help that student work around that issue. So do you guys have any thoughts or questions before we move on? And you can hit the escape button to zoom out. Remember that. Nope, you're all good. Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Summer and be quiet for a little bit, and she's going to talk some more about some other sections in the primer.
Thank you, Jerry. Hey, everybody. Thanks again for coming out and hanging out with us today and just kicking off another semester with Breakthrough. We really appreciate everybody being here. So just to continue on with the Mentor Primer, if you'll turn your attention, I'm putting up a page, hopefully everybody can see it, about our benchmarks for, we've kind of taken some time to reevaluate what really is going to be required from our mentors and our mentees. And so I just wanted to take a little bit of time here and review over what those benchmarks will be. If you at any point forget or get confused, like Jerry said, these are actually on the Mentor Primer, which is on our website. If you click on the For Mentors tab on our website, then it'll go there. So can everybody see the benchmark page up there? Hopefully. Okay,
Yes,
awesome.
I can see it. Yep.
Sounds good. Then I'll just keep going then. So as all the mentors probably know, and some of the new ones, the stipend for each semester is $500. So just to make things clear, we wanted to give you out a list of what will be the requirements. And somebody's changing the page here. Try not to edit that URL if possible. That way we can all be on the same page. Okay, so there's a mentor survey, as some of you know, and for the new people, every semester you receive a mentor survey. Those will be a requirement. It's just a way for us to keep up with our mentors and the mentoring that they're doing with the students on a overall basis. Like I said, as some of you know, each month we send out a mentor monthly survey, and basically that is just to really know the details and like the meaty part of your mentoring with your student. You know, we ask questions about what of the modules have you gone over, which I'll talk about modules in a little bit. What of the modules have you gone over? What are the struggles? What are the successes? What have your main topics of conversation have been? Just so we can kind of get an idea about how mentoring is going. And this is a good forum for you to tell any problems that you may have. But since I'm mentioning problems, if there are any problems with a student, such as they're not responsive or you know, you can't find out a good schedule, please contact your mentor coordinators. I am the post-secondary and Lisa is the secondary, and we can put our emails in the chat box too if you haven't been able to contact us before. But, you know, just let us know what's going on, because we can always, you know, reevaluate or pair you up with a different one, because if it's a scheduling problem, or find out what's going on with the student. Okay, so in addition to the surveys, we also have mentoring sessions. We require at least 10 per semester. This can be, a Second Life encounter. This can be chatting online, Skype, Facebook, Google Hangout, whatever it may be. That's what we consider a mentoring session. 2 out of the 4 critical modules is required each semester, so you can do 2 during the fall and 2 during the spring. And the critical modules are listed on our website under the For Students tab. So if you go to georgiabreakthru.org, as some of you probably know because that's where you filled out your application, you'll find the critical modules listed under the For Students tab. This is where you should make sure to go along with your student and get these completed. So you can walk through it with your student, you can assign it to them, just make sure that you address it. And actually now at the end of each module, we have a couple of questions that the student is responsible to fill out. But if you're walking through it with the student and you fill it out for the student, that's totally okay. We just want to really keep up with how many people are interacting with those modules. Then for the fall, last year we did it during the spring, but this year we're going to do it during the fall. It's a graduate symposium, and this is going to be for college students. And then we're going to do another one in the spring that'll be for high school students that's called College Transition Academy. You can choose one or the other, or you can go to both. I know some mentors here are just post-secondary, so you'd probably want to go to the graduate symposium, and then, obviously the ones who have secondary mentees might want to go to the College Transition Academy. We also do Second Life trainings like Jerry mentioned. David's going to be doing a few trainings each semester, so just make sure you at least come to one. And we are going to try to offer probably some more advanced training. So if you're an avid, Second Life user, then you might want to you might want to do one of the more advanced trainings. Next on the list is our kickoff, which is what everybody is here for. So congratulations, you have met one of the benchmarks. And then the last one is the mentor training modules, which those actually I wanted to mention too are on our website under the For Mentors tab. You'll have 2 training modules. Some of you have already done them when you signed up for BreakThru, but those are required, but it's a one-time only thing. So if you do it at the beginning of mentoring, then you're set through your duration. So that's just kind of an idea of what the mentor requirements are. But as we've said before, everybody runs into problems, whether it's work or family or has other issues going on. And then definitely if you have any technical issues, or if you have some kind of disability that prevents you from coming to any of the events or doing any of these things, please contact your coordinator and let us know. Because then we can find either an accommodation for you, or we can work with you on scheduling and things like that. Did somebody want to jump in? I was hearing somebody's microphone. Okay, well, I'm going to continue on if nobody has anything. And then we can pull up the secondary student requirements. All right. So some of the requirements for the students are kind of similar to what's required for the mentors. As you can see here, each student will have a pre-survey that they have to take at the very beginning of their mentoring. This will be kind of like an idea of us where their starting point is. And somebody, okay, I want to make sure we try to stay on these pages. Does everybody see the chart for the secondary students?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me, Summer, if I can just jump in. One of the reasons why we put the student benchmarks in your manual is so that you have an understanding of what your students need to meet, what kind of requirements they have. So it just really helps you to help them fulfill what they need to do. So, it's just more knowledge. And the other thing is with those critical modules, a lot of you, if you've been here for a couple of years, you may have already completed those modules with your particular student. So if you've already completed those, then you would be required to do just one module a year following that. You don't have to go back and do the 4 critical modules every year. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Summer.
No, thank you for jumping in. I imagine there's probably a lot I'm leaving out, so feel free to jump in if I have forgotten anything. Okay, so just to continue. Oh, somebody else want to jump in? Okay. Just to continue on, like I said, we have this pre-student survey that they take at the very beginning of mentoring, so as to have the idea of a starting point. And then at the end of each year, the students are required to take a post-survey. This is really important for us to have because we can keep up with the students each year to see what their successes are, or if they made any improvements in any of the classes they were having trouble with before, just to kind of get an idea of where they are and how mentoring has benefited them, or even if it hasn't benefited them, we'd like to know. Next is our mentee survey. We do a mentee survey just like a mentor survey once a semester, and those are similar in the sense that we just want to keep up with how each semester goes with the mentee and mentor relationship. We do not have monthly surveys for the mentees, and that's why it's really important that all the mentors fill out their monthly surveys, because we want to make sure that we hear about all the things that are going on with your mentee. So be sure and fill those out. And then the mentoring session, meet at least 10 times, do the two out of the 4 critical modules. But like Jerry previously said, if all 4 of those are already completed from previous years, then we will just have 1 module required, one of the other options that are required. And then if you run out of modules, let us know, because we can always come up with something else. And then 1 training per year, and then the secondary students are also required to attend the College Transition Academy, which will basically cover, just like it says, transitioning into college. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump to the post-secondary students. This is very, very similar to secondary students, as you can tell. The only difference is the graduate symposium as opposed to the College Transition Academy. This is where we talk about the potential of going to grad school and, let students know about the benefits there. And we've had some really wonderful speakers in the past, and I hope that we continue to do the same. So for those who have post-secondary students, this is their benchmarks. So I feel like I went through that kind of fast, so maybe I'll stop for a minute or two and ask questions, and then I can just cover the other 2 things I wanted to cover really quickly after we get done. So if anybody has any questions about requirements, benchmarks, and then I'll mention a couple other things after. Okay, what colleges are included? I don't think I know which question you're asking. If you're asking about which colleges are included in the BreakThru program, it's Georgia Perimeter, Georgia Tech, and University of Georgia. So those are the BreakThru schools. But I think if you're talking about the symposium and the college transition, I don't think that we have ever mentioned schools in specific unless the speaker went to a particular university. Okay. All right, well, while we're still talking about this, I'll just go ahead and mention this year, instead of doing, oh, wait, one more question. At this point, your mentee will not be able to, unless, I mean, Jerry or Noel can jump in if they want to, but if they're not in one of the breakthrough colleges, they can no longer participate in breakthrough. Not that we don't want you to continue, obviously, if you'd like to continue a mentoring relationship, but just because we don't have those schools, working with us on this project, I don't think it would be possible.
Yeah, Summer, let me jump in. We do have, I think, at least one particular instance where a mentor has agreed and really wants to work with a student who has switched to a non-breakthrough school, and we are okay with, I mean, obviously it's that mentor's time and everything, and what we've decided to do is just try to do some follow-up with that student who left. So they're not going to receive, the student won't receive a stipend for participating, even though they want to participate, but we will do some follow-up with them. So if you have a situation that you really feel like, I really want to continue with the student, talk it over with, either Summer or Lisa, and then we can all talk together and try to find a way to make it work for you.
Thank you. Thanks, Jerry. So just to jump back on these benchmarks, we are sort of implementing this new rewards program. Last year we had, at our end of the year celebration, we sort of had a drawing to see who would win an extra stipend. This year we're doing it a little bit different, and we're doing a rewards program. I didn't pull the page up, but you can go look at the Mentor Primer, and basically the rewards program, we're going to allow you additional chances to win every time that you do something extra. So if you come to one of our various events or webinars or trainings, any of those things can count towards the extra ability. And then you could either win an extra stipend, or it might be some kind of technology. We've given away Kindles in the past. So just remember, as you're looking at these benchmarks, if you want to go above and beyond, that can benefit you at the end of the semester, and you could have some extra cash or a prize. So remember that as you're going through your semester. And the same for the students. They can also gain rewards from extra participation. Okay, so just to highlight a couple of the new things that we have on our Mentor Primer, we have added sections on Skype and Google. So I'll just pull that up real quick. This is just a quick little small snapshot. This page actually is pretty long. And we highlight different features and explain how to go about contacting people through Skype. So you can use the calling feature if you want to call one of your students, or if you want to video chat with them, or if you just want to send them a message or share photos. And they also have a lot of other features too, like you can connect to Facebook, you can you just can do all kinds of stuff with Skype. You can share your screen. It is free. Some of the advanced features do cost money, but the basic, conversation and video chatting is free. So definitely go to this page on the primer and take a look, because if you have had trouble contacting or making, having mentoring time with your student, this might offer some extra, time to do it, So the next one that I'm going to just look at, I know we're running out of time, is just the Google Plus account. Like I said, I'm sorry, somebody want to jump in? Okay, so the Google Plus account is really a neat thing. Also, it's kind of got some similarities a little bit to other social medias like Facebook and things, and then it's also similar to Skype. You can find your friends, you can video chat, you can share pictures or post or comment. You can also have face-to-face if you want to do that on Google Plus. So just take a look here when you can. And there's videos on everything. Google is really awesome about making a video for every how-to. So if you need to, take a look at this page, and you can see the videos, how to get it set up, how to sign in, how to find people. And it's a great way to talk to your mentees, and even the staff if you want. So, okay, so the last thing that I wanted to mention about the primer, and I don't have a page for it too, but we did add some pages about group mentoring. So if you have a couple of situations, I know some of the high school teachers are doing some group mentoring. So just take a look there. We highlight different strategies for either one-on-one sessions and also group mentoring, and then some of the e-mentoring mediums for group mentoring. So take a look at that. And I think that I went through that very quickly. Hopefully it makes sense to everyone. If you need to ask questions, you can always email me. I'm going to put my email in the chat box here. And take a look at the primer. If you go to our website under the For Mentors tab, there will be a, right here at the top. You can click it and there will be the mentor primer. So I guess that's all I had to say. Jerry, if you wanted to jump back in.
That's great. Thank you, Summer. Really, I think what we want you to, I guess, take from this is the fact that we have updated the primer and there's a lot of good information in there. As you read through it, you may come up with more questions. Certainly email us or contact us, and we will be glad to go through any information with you again. We understand that this project is successful because of our mentors, and without you, we don't have student successes. I mean, obviously the student works hard with you, but you are really the heart of this project. So we want to do everything we can to support you and your efforts in mentoring. So if there are things that you would like us to do or trainings you'd like us to have, just let us know, and we would be more than happy to address some of those issues with the group. One of the things we always do is talk about what's new and coming down the pike. And for us, we've already mentioned that there's these feedback questions at the end of each module. We added these in as a way to keep track of who was completing each module, and as a way of showing who gets rewards and who it meets benchmarks and that kind of thing. And so it's really one question. So it's a very short thing, but it is mandatory to complete that question at the end of the module in order for us to know that you've completed it. Now, we'll also ask you on the monthly mentor survey, what modules you did. So that question is still there. So we have a backup, but we really want a way to be able to have you submit something, or you and your student submit it through the website, and that works really well for us. So make sure you complete that little question at the end and submit it. We also have, and we're working hard to do an online welcome center. All of y'all came in and you received some really lengthy emails from me and from Summer and Lisa. And as we did the simulation on reading disabilities, can you imagine a student with a reading disability who has to read one of these huge emails? So we recognize that it's clunky, it doesn't work. And so we're trying to develop an online welcome center, which would be a place online where the student and you could go and you could see the progress that you've made toward each of the benchmarks, toward completing surveys. And so we're working on getting that up and going for you. Probably we anticipate, if we're lucky, it'll be next semester. So anyway, just so that you know that's coming down the pike. Is there any questions before we do a wrap up? And I want to make sure that David wanted me to make sure that I say a few things. So let me make sure, because I probably skipped over his stuff. I think we're good. And we do, David, I don't want to skip the picture. I want to still take the picture.
Let's not
Does
forget
someone have
the
a question?
badges.
Oh, why don't you address that?
Yeah, so I should have probably addressed this earlier, but part of what we want to do this coming semester is really part of our rewards program is to keep up with this idea of having badges. If you look to the left of the screen, down near where David Floyd is standing or Davio Deluxe is standing, there's a black screen that says click to earn your kickoff badge. So if everybody wants to click on that screen, we have a way now of telling which avatars have been to the kickoff. So take a minute and go ahead and do that. Does everybody see the screen that says click here to earn your kickoff badge?
David's going to jump for you again. So if you see a guy jumping up and down, he is standing right next to the black screen. So if David, you can jump, there he goes.
Yeah, so as you do your Second Life trainings and other events, we're going to have these badges. So just remember to be on the lookout. We're going to mention them, though, every time that you come to a training or another event. But this will just be easier. It'll give us only need to click on it once, and you'll be set. So that way we can keep up with attendance easier. So thank you.
Okay, we have 2 more things and we are done. The first one I want to tell you is that we are going to email you an evaluation form for this particular kickoff. Make sure you fill it out and return it, and you'll get a badge. It'll go with your badge that you just got for this. But it's important, again, for reporting purposes and such. So fill that out. And we want to take a group photo of you all and put that up on our website to commemorate this this kickoff training. So with David was going to do this, and so I don't know all the ins and outs, but I'm going to ask Summer if she can help, if she knows how to take this photo. I think we're going to need everybody to sit down in one of the auditorium seats, and then maybe she has some more direction she can give us.
Yeah, I can direct everybody. If everybody wants to sit down, I'll just sit in one of these chairs. It's a little difficult. I think that's what David was saying, because the screen gets in the way when I try to zoom out enough for everybody. Let me see if I can work this out.
Yeah, I think if you are still standing, you'll need to try to come over and find a seat in the auditorium here, and we will take a group photo.
Jerry, do I have to be in a seat? Can I be right where I am?
I think
no, you're fine.
You are.
Okay. Just asking about the accommodation.
Good question.
it might be easier if you were trying to get everybody in to be on one side of the auditorium or another in the photo.
You mean if everybody sits on one side, or if I move to another side?
Everybody sits on one side.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. If everybody doesn't mind maybe moving to one side or the other. Yeah, how about everybody move to their right side? Oh. Moon Zero, you got the right idea.
Thanks, Moon.
Yeah, if y'all don't mind, just we're moving over so we can take a quick picture, and then I promise we'll let you all go.
And it's also probably good if you sit nearer to where everybody else is rather than off on the edge.
I think I can get everybody. David, do you want to sit down? Let's take one more.
If you even want to jump in there as well, I can grab a shot of everybody.
Yeah, actually, if you don't mind taking a couple, that'd be good, just to be safe.